Pit bull owners and advocates take to Annapolis this afternoon. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Rochelle Metzger.
And I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us. We'll get to that top story in just a moment. But first, a work group to consider expanded gambling in Maryland meets behind closed doors. The group came out of the 4-hour meeting on Monday, agreeing to recommend table games at casinos and keeping its current cap of 15,000 slot machines statewide. But according to the Baltimore Sun, several issues are still unresolved, including whether to allow a casino in Prince George's in addition to the 5 now approved. Also unresolved is whether the state's 67% tax rate on slots should be reduced. The 11-member work group is set to have its final public meeting on Wednesday at 11 a.m. in Annapolis.
We see them all over the county, abandoned properties with overgrown yards, shrubs, and other problems. Well, neighbors in a Fort Washington neighborhood say they've been frustrated with a house that's become quite an eyesore.
And Denise Douglas is joining us with the details on the property and what they've had to do to solve the problem.
Well, hey there, ladies. You know, when there are abandoned properties in a neighborhood, it obviously affects your property values, and then who knows what's actually lurking in those high bushes and so forth. So for months now, some of the neighbors say they have been calling the county to try and get an abandoned house taken care of. John Pierre, who lives next to it on Clear Creek Drive in Fort Washington, tells us that the lawn was about 5 feet high and trees were hanging over his property, making it an eyesore in the community. It wasn't until today that a crew came out to work on the place. He says he's been calling since March. Pierre says he's glad it's been done, but he's still concerned about whether it will be maintained in the future.
It just basically makes it an eyesore for the whole community. You know, I've had on 2 occasions in the last month where I spotted my little dog ran after a couple snakes that were in it, and they were snakes that were a good 5 feet long, large black snakes. And I was fearful of my dog, so now I'm very careful, you know, letting them go out.
It was in the grass.
Right in the grass there, yeah, and it came over into my property.
You can imagine how that was with all of that grass on that huge property that you see there. We put a call into the county about the property and to find out what the procedures for getting abandoned homes maintained. So far, we haven't heard back.
So this story is to be continued.
Absolutely.
All right.
We'll keep working on it for you.
Keep us posted, Denise. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, if you live in Prince George's, you may have to pay more starting July 1st. The council is expected to vote today on a measure that would raise the county's school facilities and public safety surcharges. The proposed 2.3% increase will account for inflation. But some good news tonight. Tax rates are holding steady. State law requires the council to set a rate prior to each new fiscal year. Members are expected to vote on a resolution that will keep rates the same for fiscal year 2013. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Rochelle Metzger.
And I'm Patricia Vallone.